Okay, so 2 months ago we made a post on social media about the expectations of parents on their children, and both of our guests today are different opinions about that post. One was for, one was against, and so we asked them during that back and forth if they are open to coming on the show to actually trash this out, and they were so eager to come on, and we're so excited to be here with both of them today. But before we go into today's episode, I'm trying not to rant because I feel like ranting a bit, but I'm going to try and just keep it together. But I'm going to say this. If you are a fan of this show and you are going through any form of abuse, okay, I will hit my chest and tell you that if it's a violent abuse, please get out. Please leave. Please leave to live. Don't die out of ignorance. Don't die out of what people will say. Don't die about what the church will say. I am a child of God. I go to church. I am telling you, if something is detrimental to your life, walk. Please, you can actually pray from afar. And honestly, there's nothing God cannot do but pray from afar. Okay, I am saying this from the depth of my heart because I am tired. I am tired of all this. Her husband beat her to death. I know someone sitting down in jail right now because she snapped and she almost choked the life out of her husband. She could have left. Please, we are all tired of writing rest in peace because that is all we can do. Nobody can make anybody stay. Yes, the church is culpable. Yes, the church is complacent, but it is still your decision. So please, that is me trying not to rant. So moving on. Okay, back to the show. We have Bimbo and Kemi with us today. They are going to go at it. I'm just going to watch because they have different opinions, and like I told them yesterday, they are allowed to argue. They are allowed to disagree with each other because that is actually why we came up with today's episode. Okay, so welcome with me, Bimbo Aluko. Welcome, Bimbo. Good evening.
Good
And
evening.
thank you. Yes, thank you. And my
Thank you for having
second
me.
guest, you're welcome. My second guest is Kemi Omotajo. They're actually both returning guests, though Bimbo has been on the show before. Kemi has also been on the show before. Welcome, Kemi.
Thank you so
We are
much.
super pumped.
Yes,
Like the
I'm
gloves are
ready.
out.
Let's go get it.
The gloves are
Bring it
out.
on.
Oh, okay. She said bring it on. Get. We are ready. Okay. So let's talk about the post that was made that day. Right, let's start off with that. And I'm going to
Okay.
ask you first, Bimbo. What was your thoughts about that post, if you can remember?
It was annoying. Like, I felt like he was just being a conceited and a selfish person. How can you say you didn't ask to be born? Yeah, so what? They shouldn't see you as. It was just really not just, it was not palatable to me. I feel like as children, at some point, we really need to come up and take care of our children. We're not talking about just what is morally right. As believers, it is also what is expected of us. So yes, when I saw the post, in short, I was just angry with the guy. I'm sure if he had been around me, I would have probably said something to him.
Okay. All right. So, Kemi, what about you? What was your first thoughts?
So my thought was, I 100% agree with this person just because I feel like culturally we've been taught that when we get older, it's almost like necessary for us to take care of our parents. I have nothing against people taking care of their parents, but I have an issue with it becoming like a burden, an extra burden that you have to carry. It's almost like you have to. It's not a choice. It's not something you can do in addition to what you already do. It's almost like you have to. And I have a problem with that being like, it's like set in stone, you have to do this thing. Like you don't have a choice. I struggle with that. I mean, I see the guy, I feel like it was a little maybe harsh to say I didn't ask to be born, but I still understand his point because it's like, it's your responsibility to take care of your kids. You don't take care of your kids because, when they get older, they're going to take care of me. Yes, you want that, but it's not your right. It's not like an entitlement. You shouldn't be entitled to it. That's just how I felt when I saw the post.
Okay. All right. Thank you both so much. Hi, Bella Fro. Hi, Ogunwale Adedotun. Thank you all for joining. I don't know, whoever else is there, welcome to Real Talk with Odun. Funny enough, I didn't even introduce the show. Can you imagine? I was just in the zone. Anyway, this is Real Talk with Odun for the benefit of those that are joining the show for the first time. Real Talk with Odun is a show that is by women for women. It is a platform where women come. They give us their views and their opinions about issues that affect them as a woman first, before any other thing. So this is Real Talk, and we welcome you. We appreciate your time also. So, Kemi, let me ask you, said it just doesn't sit right with you. You have something with it being mandatory. So why do you have something with it being mandatory?
Because I always see that, I know it's a prayer that we pray in our culture that, you will eat the fruit of your labor over your children. And I think yes, I agree. It's true. You eat you eat the fruit of your labor, but it's becoming something that you feel like, I don't know, like, it's like, I have to, like, you have to do this, you have to do that. It just doesn't, it makes me feel like, okay, now I'm restricted. Now I feel like I have to carry this burden, even if I don't want to, even if I can't. What if I'm not capable of carrying the burden of caring for my parents, having my own personal responsibilities? Then what happens then? I have to now feel pressure to find or do so many different things that maybe I'm not comfortable with just because I have to meet this need that has been kind of put on me. Not necessarily that I chose to say, okay, I want to do this. It's almost like it's been put on me, and if I don't do it, I will look like a bad person, I will look like a bad child, my parents will curse me, or whatever the case may be. I just feel like it just restricts me. It restricts people to not have the freedom to do things at the time that they're capable of doing it. So if I'm not capable, what happens then? That's just my view.
All right. I get to you. Sorry?
Any reasonable parent would understand if you're not capable. It's a different thing when you're not capable. It's a different thing when you have it and you're not just doing it. Some people would rather keep that money and give their immediate family, that's their wife and the children, luxury. And they see it as, me having to care for my parents is just extra burden that I don't have to carry. No. The same way you plan for your children, you plan for, okay, I want to get a house, I want to get a car. You make the same plan for your parents. The truth is, this thing is just something that I don't think any reasonable parent with the present situation of the economy around the world would make it a mandatory thing. I understand that this is often been misapplied or overexploited by certain parents. But the truth is, it's just like, that thing is like a lifeline that is there for parents to either take it or not take it.
Okay.
It's
so
just there.
My question to you is that, okay, so does that give parents the right not to plan for their own future?
We are going to get into planning.
Okay.
We are going to get into planning. And I actually like where both of you are going, because I like it when people come prepared to defend their point of view. Now, I'm going to ask you, Bimbo, because obviously your opinion about what she thought is, we know that. But if I want to, I'm going to support both of you today. So both of you are okay. If I understand what she's saying, is the extra pressure that places on a child that she is talking about. Like that, I have my own family to take care of. I'm thinking of how to take care of my family. Why do I need to think of taking care of my parents as well? And for you're saying you just plan. You add them to the puzzle.
To the budget.
To the budget.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
I think the last time, yes. I think during one of the shows, then we're talking about planning, and we referred to this Steve Harvey advice about having 4 different accounts. The same way you're having your savings and investment account, and you're having your joint account or your personal account, you have to have that account for your miscellaneous. It falls on that It's not miscellaneous self. It's something that is important. These are people that have given up certain luxuries to afford you the life that you are presently owning.
But in the voice of that guy, they didn't ask to be banned.
Really?
They also didn't ask you to give up certain luxuries either. I mean, you gave up those luxuries because you wanted your kids to have a good life future, right? Were you giving those luxuries
I am a responsible
because you expect those children to take care of you, or because you really wanted those children to turn out good?
That is okay. Listen, that is what I'm saying. That is often misapplied, and overexploited. Yes, misconstrued. You know, we have the saying in Yoruba that says, you understand? But in the case when the child does not even have omu to give, you understand? It's, as a reasonable parent, you would know that at this point the child does not have. Now I'm talking about someone that has and feels like this is not my responsibility. See, if we're going to look at it this way, you're saying a parent, okay, let me say for instance, my own parents both were civil servants, and how much were civil servants earning now when we're growing up? I went to private schools. I went to really good schools, Federal Government Girls College, Oyo. I went to private schools in Lagos before I finally finished. And at some point, at every point, I knew they were making sacrifices just for me to have this life. If they decide that they want me to go to some public school that doesn't have any substance or anything to impact into my life, and I turn out anyhow, what would I do about it? So it's just like me saying, they are giving up luxuries, that's their business. No, they are giving up luxuries and they made me this person I am. So at the same time, I should also think of how I can inculcate their own comfort into whatever plans I am making. It is only reasonable.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Like I said, I support what you just said too. So I am a flip-flopper today. So, Kevin, let me ask you this question with your own views and opinion. Taking care of your children, do you think it's a responsibility or an investment?
Absolutely, it's a responsibility. You know, it was my choice to want to have children. There's some people that choose that they don't want to have children. As a choice, I have to bear the responsibilities that come with having children. So if that means I'm sacrificing certain things, I'm budgeting whatever they need, it's part of it. It's not something I'm doing in that, in the future, I will reap what I'm sowing. Yes, I will reap, but I'm not banking on it. I'm not saying that this is something I must reap from.
It's not the only thing you're focused on.
So it's definitely a responsibility. I don't think of it as when I get to a certain age, these kids will take care of me. Yes, I would love that, but I'm not planning for that. I'm not banking on that. I'm doing my responsibility, my God-given responsibility, actually, to them, to take care of them. Not investing, not thinking that, this is definitely going to bring something back to me. It will bring something back to me as a good parent, yes, but I'm not banking on it.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bemaj in the building. John, thank you. The author doctor, thank you. Laces and Style. So good to see you, sis. Thank you. Miss Bay, thank you. Amarachi, thank you. And everybody that their name has scrolled up. Thank you all for joining the show. We appreciate each and every one of you. Anyway, Miss Bay said to me, it's a must for a child to take care of their parents. If they turn out good, it's for the parents' benefits. And if they turn out the other way, it's for the parents' benefits. For me, a child must take care of his or her parents. Okay, Big Boy, you seem to have a lot of supporters online now.
see, this thing is, even the Bible says, honor thy father and thy mother. It is not just to honor them in, I'm respectful to my parents. I kneel down to greet my parents in the morning. Like we honor God with our voice, with what we say, and also we honor God with our substance. We also honor our parents with our substance. If you have, it is only normal to give. It is even blessing for you as a child to give to your parents. In Christendom, there is this there are 5 pillars of giving. just like they have it in Islam. Most people might not know it. We have the paying your tithe thing. We have giving to widows and needies and fatherless and the like. But there is also giving to your parents. See, I am not saying that bank on it. I'm telling you, a lot of people are struggling. I have parents too. I'm telling you, they are not banking on it. But you see, sometimes when you give them, I saw a recent post about a lady. I think it's been a while. She finished NYSC. And she thought of it that, okay, with everything my parents have sacrificed for me, most especially my dad, what can I do for him? So she went out and she bought a water dispenser. And she brought it home. And she presented it to her dad as a token of appreciation. She said her dad was so happy and was almost drawn to tears. And, you know, he goes every morning himself to clean the dispenser. He would tell everybody, don't touch it, oh, my daughter that bought it for me. It is this pride that it goes into. You're saying it is not an investment, but sincerely, even God invests in us. He invests in us, expecting an outcome. They might not really bank on you coming back to give them. Yes, a return on your investment. You're sending your child to school. Let me put it this way. Now, I want to make myself employable. I decide to invest in getting a skill. Okay, maybe a soft skill or something that can help me. Now, I'm putting in the funds to get the skills. I'm putting in the time to learn. And I get the skills. And at the end of the day, even that skill doesn't work for me to get a good job or better paying job. Do you really think I'll be happy about it? What is the return on that investment? So it is not just a responsibility. It is a responsibility as much as it is an investment.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I feel like when I was growing up, if you're probably in your 30s, 40s, and we can look back and think about it as children, how many parents were really working in the private sectors and earning tons? Most parents were probably civil servants, teachers, and earning just a little. But they will go the extra mile. They have 4 or 5 children, and you find out all the children, they are graduates. Yeah. And you have a lawyer, a doctor, probably a banker, whatever, an engineer, even if it's just a Yoruba graduate self. But they have spent that money, and you wonder how were they able to do it on such meager salary? And that child will come back and tell you, you don't expect me to give you anything just because I'm making money. It is not like they are waiting for you, but because it brings a blessing. Even was it Isaac that said to Esau and said, go out and get meat for me, prepare it that I may bless you, that I may eat and bless you. They eat, it comes with blessing. It comes with a blessing. So I feel like you bless your parents, you are reaping it. You see that thing that ordinarily your father looks at you and say, he feels this piece like, no, I have not worked in vain. And even if it's just a little you are giving him, he might not expect it to be a constant thing, to be a monthly thing. If you don't have it, nobody will expect it. No reasonable person would expect that you make it a constant thing. But when you have it and the one time you drop it, they feel it to their bones and they pray for you from the depth of your heart. I don't know. Just the way I see it, you have to take care of your parents. You just have to.
All right, thank you so much. While she was talking, some things were playing in my head. Like I said, I understand where both of you are coming from. And Essy's reflection said it is an unfair burden on the kids. She actually called it an African curse. Now, I won't say it's a curse, because while she was talking, I was thinking about my own childhood. And I was thinking about the sacrifices my parents made. My dad doesn't mind what time it is. He makes sure he picks up from school. We're not born with silver spoon in our mouth. It's not as if he had that much, but he will tell you he will give his last penny. My mom will tell you, I will sell my clothes so that my kids can go to school. So I was just flashing back, and now I'm asking myself, will I now think I didn't ask to be born? No, because I can actually see those sacrifices that were made. And someone here said, if a man start having his or her own kids, he will know the sacrifice the parents made. Taking care of a child is not an easy job. All parents deserve it. So now, Kemi, with that, do you think I understand you said you are not saying you should not take care of your parents. You are just saying don't put that extra burden. It should not be mandatory. Right. That's what you're saying, right? So with everything that Bimba said now, what is your own opinion. Hold on, let me read this. Chris, drink water. I hope that's right. I had the same experience. I bought my dad a wristwatch and he was always telling everyone that my son sent this wristwatch to me. He did that for years. I mean, years. So, like she said, it's just a thing of pride. Even those that have, let's take Femi Otedala for example. If Temi sends something to her dad with the kind of money he has, I know we are still going to get to that having a lot of money doesn't lower the expectation, but I'm sure it will still bring a kind of joy in a parent. So with this, do you think you're still fixed on your opinion?
Not as much, just because I definitely understand what you mean when you talk about the pride that your parents have when you give them something. I've given my parents gifts, and they may have asked for it, but the fact that I was able to do it.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think when they ask for it, they ask because they could not get it themselves?
No.
Exactly. So go on.
So even though they asked for it, it brought me joy to be able to buy that gift for them. It brought me joy to gather my siblings and say, let's put our money together. We want to buy this for our parents. And then in my heart, I was also wishing I can do more. Like this is small in comparison to the things that they've done for me. My parents, made sure I went to college. Because college in this country,
it's ridiculous.
You got to take loan and you still be paying it back years later. My parents, I didn't have to take one loan.
Oh, wow.
The whole time I went to college.
Wow.
That's a sacrifice. Of course, I appreciate that. I don't take it for granted. That's why I make sure I'm a better person today because of it. I thank God that they were able to, because I know some people that are paying loan through their nose, and I'm like, I don't have to pay one dime back because my parents were able to. And it's not like they're like rich, they're comfortable, but they made that sacrifice for us. So of course I understand what you mean by that pride. It's something that should come from within you naturally, not because someone said you have to do it, but because you naturally believe this is something I have to do. My parents sacrificed. There's no way I'm going to be like, oh, they'll be all right. I'm good now. They got me to this point. I didn't ask for this. No, that's arrogant. I mean, like, it being like, you must do this kind of thing just puts me off. I want to naturally do it. I don't want it to be something that they're telling you have to do. If you don't do it, something's wrong with you. I struggle with that. I naturally want to do it.
Let me say this. This is reflection. That's Aki. Anyway, maybe you all need to define taking care of parents. Buying a watch or paying their bills consistently. So I think we need to define that. Taking care of your parents.
Okay. Let me say this, that I understand where Kevin is coming from. The pressure should not be there. It should come to you naturally. And if you understand the sacrifices that your parents have made for you, then it should come to you naturally without anyone pressurizing you to do anything. Now, that is why I said this is often misapplied by Nigerians, Africans. But the truth is, okay, now, for instance, I work, I earn. My parents do not expect that I give them. My dad is retired, but he's still making moves to get his own little, but not to get his own little money. But not everyone is opportuned to have that life after retirement. Now, this is Nigeria, where someone retires from civil service. A year after retirement, you've not gotten anything. Some parents, because of the fact that all the while they were in service, probably had to take loans to get their children through school or something, didn't have a saving per se that could get them through the whole year or for the period they're going to wait. Now, after they get that here, I'm telling you what is obtainable in Nigeria. I don't know about elsewhere, or the people have been around. I know many people, when they get their gratuity from the government and all that, will still get out of that money and give to their children.
Yes. Yeah, I still borrow money
Most from my people, you see them. They will still, I'm telling you, you see, if I call home sometimes and I'm like, oh, and I start talking about how things are, this and that, I have times where my dad or my mom will say, oh yeah, I want to send so amount to you. You understand? Despite the fact that I am working. There are parents that understand the economic situation of the country or wherever you are. They are not putting pressure on you to give. But as long as you start getting comfortable, no matter how little, give. You have to do something. It is only right. I'm sorry I'm going biblical, but let me relate this to 1 Timothy 5:8. It says, if anyone does not provide for his relatives, your parents are your relatives, or especially for members of his households, to make some return to their parents. They said that person is not pleasing in the sight of God, though. He's not different from an unbeliever. That is what the Bible says. This person is worse than an unbeliever. 1 Timothy 5:8. Sorry, I don't have it here with me, but that's my interpretation of it. But you can read it up. The person is worse than an unbeliever. You have to take care of your parents. You have to take care of your relatives. Now, I know some people can bring the whole entitlement thing. Yeah. We're not talking about people that are feeling entitled. We're talking about parents that have made sacrifices for you. When you have it, you give. Not under pressure. I'm talking about, it's not necessarily, monthly, I know I have to buy food for them. Some of them can afford these things. Yeah. They have other children they've probably taken care of that bring stuffs for them too. But I don't know, me, I cannot sit down and an outsider is coming, blessing my parents. I mean, I'm just sitting there and I feel, I beg, I can't be bothered. No, it can't work for me. I'm going to relate this to, there was a movie I watched, an Indian movie, Bhagavan. It was, it said The Caretaker. It was really, the day I watched it, I cried because it was really painful. He was a bank manager and he had 4 sons. And all the while he was in the bank, all his benefits, all of that, he would buy, once the children say, oh, daddy, I need a car, it's difficult getting my kids around and my wife, he will buy the car for them. I need this, he will do it for them. I need that, he will do it for them. And then he got retired. And they thought, oh, he's been working for years now, and he's been buying us this, buying us that, and all of that. And he called them and he told them, okay, there's really nothing on ground because all the while I've been using my funds to do this and this and this. And okay, I'm fine, but I just feel like now that I'm retired, let me just spend a little time with you guys because I've been busy with work and all of that. And then they started making it like, oh, he was stressing them. He was, just because he wanted to spend a few days at each child's house just to spend time with the children. And they neglected him. At the end of the day, he was a boy he picked up from the streets that he took care of. He didn't have a house of his own because he wanted to train his children. And it was a boy he just picked up from the streets that took him in and took care of him. And at that point, he wrote the story of his life and it got published through some kids he met. And he made money out of it. Then the kids came back looking for him. This is a man that left their house, was supposed to go to the other kids' house, and he didn't go there because of the way he had been maltreated. And they didn't bother to look for him. But when they heard money was back, they came looking. I am not saying you have to feel that pressure to provide for your parents. But the truth is, no matter what, we are Africans, no matter how civilized we're getting, no matter how much knowledge we're getting, let's remove Africans from there. We are Christians, we're believers. No matter what, just try. Just no matter how little, do something. I'm telling you, it opens doors. You are just going to be blessed from it.
Thank you so much, Bimbo. So, Kami, I want to ask your own thoughts about the story, because that story is like, okay, maybe it was a make-believe, because I cannot imagine treating my father that way. Anyway, but what's your thoughts about that?
Well, I think it's unfortunate that the kids only saw value in their father when he had money, or when he was able to do something for them. That's clearly something
is wrong. Something went wrong somewhere. Yeah. Right.
They've missed the fact that their dad was sacrificing, or maybe they didn't even know. But even so, you don't use people. You know, they just used him for whatever they can give them, and then when he didn't have any more, he was useless to them, which is such a wrong mentality, you know. And I think it's unfortunate that it had to be a stranger to show that, okay, this is how you're supposed to take care of people. This is how you're supposed to care for people. You don't use people. You take care of them, especially when they take care of you.
Thank you so much. So Adebola Amira said, this speaker is so right. I am bothered about my about the well-being of my parents, despite the fact that they are both doing well. But I have to do my part because on the long run, it is for my benefit. And Essie's reflection said, I love this topic. Yes, we love it too. Thank you. So then Aki said, you are taking care of your parents around the same time you are taking care of your own kids. And I think we need to sink that into the planning that Bimba has been mentioning. So, do you think while you're planning to take care of your kids, you should also add your parents to the budget?
Okay.
You want to go ahead? Go ahead, because I'm still thinking.
No problem. You can go.
I want to say, if I may say this, I think it depends on the need, because your children, I don't know, you have to take care of your children. You know, you have to make sure they have what they need. If your parents are not necessarily have immediate needs, maybe you can, decide when I have a little bit more, I'll be able to give. I don't know. I just feel like it might depend on what's going on in your house, on your household. Because I can't take a blanket statement and say you have to put it a part of your budget. Mm-hmm. But if it's something you can do, definitely do it. But if you're taking care of your kids and you don't even have enough for that, then you have to pick and choose. Like, okay, this month I can do, this month I can't. So I think it just depends.
Okay. All right, thank you. Adebola Amira said, sure, they are both our responsibilities. God blesses us when we take care of our parents, and consistency is key. Do your part and watch God do his own. So let me come back to you, Bimbo, with that same question. Should you budget for your parents?
It's not a bad idea for you to budget for your parents. I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't know, maybe because I've had my parents made a lot of sacrifices for me. So if I'm doing well, believe me, they are in the budget too. If I am doing well, if you are comfortable enough, yes. See, these things are just like the way you plan for your house rent.
Let me stop you, Bimbo. Let me stop you. Kemi made a point and said, while you're planning, you still don't have enough for your own kids. Right?
Okay,
so
now in that case, this is what works. What I think works in that case. Let's say for your kids now, you need to pay school fees for this term. School fees is not until another 3 months in Nigeria. Let me put it that way. That's 3 months, once in 3 months. So if I'm paying school fees in January, I might not be able to do much or anything at all for my parents in January, but I can make up for it in February. They are my parents. They know I have kids, and I can make them understand. The funny thing is, you might just even do as little as maybe that January that you can't even give them anything. You might do as little as visiting them with just maybe some fruits, and you just be like, and then you drop it casually in conversation. Now the kids are resuming, and there's a lot of expenses, casually. But sometimes when you have parents that understand, you don't really need to explain these things.
Yeah.
So you just do, if once January is gone, I'm done with school fees, then February I can make up for it. That's what I think. So it doesn't stop you from planning. And if you are now very comfortable, my sister, plan. If it means putting 10% on parents, put 10%. If it's 5% you can afford, put it on them. Sincerely, they've worked for it and they need to enjoy it.
All right.
But my key there is understanding. Like, I feel like some people don't understand. Yeah. Regardless if you're explaining or you don't explain, they will start complaining to you, but you're not giving us anything. Like, but I've explained that right now things are tight, or right now I don't have it.
Those are unreasonable parents.
Right.
Yeah. They're entitled. They have entitlement mentality.
Yes.
And she kept saying it that there are some parents that are entitled. Okay. Thank you both so much. I need to go back to here, but things are coming up here as well. If we say it's not enough, there's no time it will ever be enough. I must be sincere. Adebola Amira said that. Queen Tabitha said you just have to balance it. Tokwe Adeyan John said it comes from a place of proper planning and having a sense of responsibility to be both a
Ability.
mother
Yeah.
and a child to your parents. For instance, there is a subscription I do for them on a monthly basis. Like, I know Akin was saying something about paying their bills consistently. What do you think about that? Does it mean that you pay all the bills, or can you just decide, like Chokwe just said, to pick a particular bill and be handling that?
Absolutely. I think if you can handle at least one, or at least decide that you will help them with one of them, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's something you can take responsible for and be consistent with, because God forbid you take the light bill and then the 1 month you forgot to pay, they don't have light. So I just think if it's something that you can comfortably handle, yeah, take a bill from them and say, I got this, don't worry about it, and if you can take all, do that too.
Okay, I'm coming back to you, Kemi. Sorry, remember, because Akin just said something. He said we have monthly child care in America, and let's not even talk about summer expenses. But now, that being said, in America, you also get certain amount that you're supposed to get for your children from the government, correct?
Not everybody.
When you file your taxes.
Yeah, well, yes, you get that at the end of the year. Yes.
Of the year, yes. So now I want to ask you, is the narrative different in America than back home in Africa?
I think so.
Why?
I think it's different just because there's way more things. We pay for things more on a monthly basis versus I think in some places in Nigeria, or that I'm not sure for sure, but like rent is not every month.
It's annually.
Yeah, it's annually. Ours is every month.
It's every month.
You have to come up with your rent every month. If you don't have the rent every month, you will not have a place to live if you don't pay. Same thing with mortgage. It's a monthly payment that you have to make, and it's almost the same amount, if not, it might differ depending on whatever your schedule of payment is. So we have to think about our bills monthly. We don't get the luxury of
planning for the whole year.
Now we can wait. We can do other things with our money. The money that you get needs to cover your bills, needs to cover everything for that month. And then whatever's left over, you can do stuff for yourself or for your family. But so I do think the dynamics,
the structure
very
is different. Yes.
So that often factors into how we do this.
Okay,
debate.
so now let me ask another question. Bimba, I'm going to cut to you because I'm bringing up these questions because during the week, a fan came up and said we should not ask someone that is here, that we should bring guests that is in Nigeria. And I'm saying that's not true because Nigerians, Africans, all over the world, they all have the same mentality. So let's not fool ourselves. So now, do you think that can play into how much you can take care of your parents? Since you need to plan on a daily basis in comparison to Bimbo that can plan annually.
So you're asking me, do I think it factors into it?
Yes.
I do. Just because, depending on what your budget in your household is, you would have to literally, if you're going to put it as part of your budget, you would literally have to, everything has to be, at the right amount for you to be able to be consistent in whatever you want to give to your parents. God forbid 1 month, one bill is higher than the other, then you're off. Then now you can't give what your parents, what you normally give them, what you normally, bring to the table. I do think there are other ways to give. I think we're only looking at the money part of it. Of course, there's other ways to take care of your parents. If it means that, taking them to their medical appointments, or you have to take off work to make sure they're good for whatever they need in the house. Those are other ways to take care of them. It might not necessarily be something you have to budget for.
Because most of the parents here, Nigerian parents actually, most of them are still working. They do nannies or they find something to do. But then at the same time, don't let's go deep into it because I really don't want to start exposing something. So like I said, we should all take care of our parents, but we are not obligated. The obligation of a parent to take care of their children is not the same obligation a child has to take care of their parents. What do you think, Bimbo?
Obligation. Wow.
Obligated.
Okay. It's funny. At some point, you're no longer a child. It's not about just yes, because you still have a parent, you're a child, but then you're no longer a child. That's how I feel. But if you notice, all the while I've been talking, I've been saying Nigeria, Africa, because I know what is obtainable here is different from what is obtainable over there. Because I understand for someone that has to plan for monthly rent and other stuffs, other bills, the way we buy gas here for cooking is different from the way you guys pay for gas over there. You understand? So I know that it can have an impact on how well you're able, how much you're able to care for your parents financially. Now, like she said, if you can't do it financially, you can be there to help them with other stuff. Like, you understand? Other services. Oh, they need to do this, and you feel it will be a stress for them to actually do it by themselves. Then you can offer to do it. You can offer to do it. But on that obligation issue, it's an obligation, for me. I think it's an obligation. Because I feel like at some point, the truth is they are older, they are probably not as strong and vibrant as they used to be. And there is a limit to what they can actually do. So at that point, I become their leg. I become their extra support. And I don't think it's a burden. If it is convenient at that time for me to do it, it's different when I am not doing well. But when I am probably doing okay, maybe not very, very, very well, but okay, and I can still squeeze out something, no matter how little, then we should do it.
All right. Thank you so much, Bimbo. I'm going to go back here because Adebola Mira said, I pay my parents' driver salary of 30K monthly for over 2 years now. And God keeps showing up. Oh. It's all planning and priorities. Yeah. The amount we use for takeout or even $100 monthly will go a long way. She's in the US too. So she's saying, I mean, here in America, I don't believe our location has an effect on your budget per this topic. All is about the mindset. What do you think?
I agree that your mindset definitely has effect on how you approach this topic. Everybody's mindset is different when it comes to this topic. I'm of the opinion that it's not an obligation, but everybody, other people are saying
most of them are saying, just acting like your own. Every other person is saying it's an obligation. For me, it's an obligation.
And I just feel like, it's a mindset thing. You have to.
It's a mindset thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's a mindset thing. And she said, it's an obligation for me because I am indebted to my parents. It's perspective. You are not seeing it as an obligation. I get you, actually. And I think I lean a little bit towards you because it makes it infuriating if I'm placed under a kind of budget when I don't have. These are things I know I should do. I don't need you telling me. I don't need you asking me. I don't need you pressurizing me to do it. So it kind of rubbed me off if I'm being pressurized to do what I know I'm supposed to do. That's your point, which is why I said I get you. And then the other thing you're saying is it should not be an obligation. Like I said, it is something I should be willing to do without the extra pressure that comes with it. So, Bimbo, I'm going to come to you now and I'm going to say, since everyone is saying it's an obligation, you also said it is an obligation. So where does the room of our parents planning for their future comes in?
Well, like I said, I'm going to refer to the Nigerian part of it again. Okay? Some parents get to plan. Some don't get the luxury of planning. I mean, take for instance, let's say you have a parent that's been an artisan for years and doesn't have the regular, this pension thing only works for those that have the, is it white collar job? Blue collar jobs are not really factored in Nigeria here. They are not factored in. So it only takes someone who is wise with his spending or thinks of saving But I'm telling you, the average Nigerian parent, the average reasonable Nigerian parent, reasonable and responsible Nigerian parent would not think of saving if they can use that money to better the life of their child. That's the way they reason here. You would see someone that is a mechanic and would go into contribution, daily contribution, weekly contribution, and gather everything and say, oh, I need to send it to my child.
Okay,
in
so
school.
sorry, I have to interrupt. So invariably, are we saying parents now should learn to be selfish, to plan for their future?
I want to say this. You say, how can you be selfish towards your own child? I don't know.
That's what this woke generation are saying, basically.
That's what they're saying. I mean, like they say, having a child is like having your heart walking around outside your body. So can you really be selfish to your own heart? That's the thing. We're becoming woke and losing sight of the things that are important. We think, it's a burden for me to take care of my parents. I see videos of, I think very soon we're going to get to the age that even for children to visit their parents, their aged parents, it becomes an issue. I see videos of vice presidents going to visit his old mother. I see Femi Otedola, going to his mother. All those things, we're starting to emulate this Western world idea. Your parents get old, you ship them off to some place and just go and dump them there and keep living your life like you're not bothered. It is me, it is my time. I have to live it the way I like. Forget it. You live every day. There's nothing like YOLO. You don't live once, you live every day. So you just have, and you can't, no man is an island. These people are there for a reason. There is this connection for a reason. So you cannot just say, oh, I'm woke, I'm not. You just have to drop that woke. Your family is your family, blood, your parents. These things are just there for a reason. You just have to connect. Because I think this whole wokeness is why we're having a lot of people that are going through stuffs and they cannot even talk to their own parents. They cannot talk to anybody, and you see a child just sit in the house and pick up a gun and blow his head off. Because that connection is broken. You don't have a relationship with anybody. You feel it is my life. I can do whatever I please. But you see, when you start to have this sense of responsibility that every action I take directly or indirectly impacts on the life of another person, then you have to do better. You just have to do better.
All right. Thank you so much, Bimbo. I'm going to come to you, Kemi. There is a question here that said, that's from AC's reflection. So when does the circle end? And Adebola Amira said the circle never ends.
Never ends. You just have to keep doing it.
I don't think it does.
The cycle never ends. It's just like life and death. There will be death, there will be life again. And that is how it's supposed to be. Everything has to be in a balance. It just keeps going. I think it's just the way, let me go a bit religious again. It's just the way God has fashioned the whole thing. It's for continuity.
Okay, so what about something I see here in America is that parents are leaving legacy for their children. Let's say these big companies like Walt Disney, for example. The person that originated Walt Disney is no longer alive, but the legacy is continued, correct? He didn't, I don't know what his mindset, I don't know if he expected his kids to take care of him, or he just built this that they should take care of it as part of his legacy. So where do we put that issue of legacy? Are we building something for our kids to take over, that if I'm not here, there's something that I've put in place that my kids can carry on? So what about that?
Okay, Bimbo.
I understand that part where you're coming from. Yes, a good man leaves possessions for his children's children. But the thing is, not everyone is opportune to have that kind of life. Not everyone. Some people's legacy that they will leave behind might only be the good name they built for themselves. Not everyone is going to have the opportunity to build a business. Like I referred to a while back, that for people that are like in their 30s, 40s or so, most of their parents were probably civil servants. They didn't even have the funds to start up a business of their own. that could actually become a household name or something.
Right. It doesn't necessarily have to
So
be a business. Sometimes it can be.
yes, I understand.
Sometimes, you can be.
Okay,
The
let me
property.
say this. Because even to put that legacy down, you will need finances. So if we take like a society
Yes.
like Nigeria into consideration, when all you have is being put into taking your child, what do you use to build that legacy? Like now, here in the US, the basic amenities of life is being provided by the government. And which is why an average American will actually bounce their parents to a nursing home. Now, when they go to that nursing home, that parent has Medicare. The government is paying for it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. The government is taking care of it. So, in fact, you have all the opportunity to build that legacy that back home in Nigeria.
To make things work, yes.
Even here in Nigeria, it's just the 1%. Here in the US, it's just the 1%. In Nigeria, it's maybe the 0.0001%. So now,
in Nigeria, even when you have the fund, sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah. So
even when you have the funds, you could have funds to take care of your.
She said kids here bounce their parents to nursing home, which is not the best. Every child of today will soon be a parent, and the circle continues. We need to treat our parents well while they are still with us. Yep, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We all agree on that. It's just the different view of the pressure. I see the pressure can actually cripple you. Let's just say that.
Yes,
it's like an added pressure. Yeah, it's an added pressure. So let me just appreciate some people. I saw our show came on. DNK is here. Thank you so much. Official Deborah Ajayi. Thank you so much, ma'am. I appreciate you. Thank you, Amarachi. Thank you all. I appreciate each and every one of you. So, let me go back to my topic on my phone. Sorry. It's been a very, very interesting episode. So let's go back to, because I know I saw something here. It went up. Someone said, parents plan from their future, but what if you plan and it fails? All this is an issue because the parents are probably not rich. Okay, so now there's a topic here that said, does the financial status of a parent affect the future expectations placed on a child? Let me ask you that, Kevin.
It probably
you think
does.
Financial independent, like Femi Otedola, will he expect less from his children?
He might not even expect anything at all, just because he has, everything. But that doesn't stop his children from wanting to give him, of course. But he might not expect it. It's just because he has more than he needs, probably, and he's probably looking for ways to give to other people as well. So I do think that if parents are doing really well, they may not put that expectation on their kids. They might not even look for it. They might not even ask about it. But I don't think that should stop children from still doing it, from, blessing their parents.
Act of service, actually. I would say act of service. Even for those rich parents, act of service will go a long way.
Yes.
That's what I would say. Okay, sorry, Adeshola. She said you did not say Adesholabi. Thank you for joining, Adeshola. We see you. Okay, people, let me come back to you with that question. Do you think being financially okay as a parent? Yeah.
I think it will lower the expectations. It will lower it or completely eradicate it.
Yeah.
If you're fine as a parent, you're doing well, you would have very little expectations from your child. But regardless of expectations or not, you just have to do something. It might just be as little as, oh, I know my dad likes this kind of tea. That's why the fact that he's rich. And it might not be you even buying that tea. You going to make that tea and giving to him might just be a wow to him. Those little acts of kindness are ways you can actually give to them when they have so much.
Okay, yeah, I agree it lowers the expectation. But it doesn't mean they won't be happy if you do it as a child. That's the truth.
Of course.
They will still be happy. If Femi Otedola's children decide to buy a car and present it to him on his birthday, he will go on social media, make a video and put it on social media. Not because he cannot afford it, but because it's coming from his kids.
Right.
So yes, it lowers the expectation, but it doesn't stop you from doing it. That's what I can say.
Yes.
All right, thank you both so much for today, and we appreciate everybody that joined. Overcome Media. Thank you all for joining. So before we go, let me come to you, Kemi, to give us your final thoughts about everything we talked about today.
I guess some of my final thoughts is that I still believe as a parent, in whatever way you can, you should try to plan for your future.
Yep.
I still stand on, don't just depend on your kids. Don't depend that these kids, I put in all this work, I'm supposed to get something back. I believe that it will come naturally from them. If they see all your sacrifices and they realize that you put everything in them, they will naturally come back and bless you and take care of you and, take care of things for you. But it should not, I just don't stand on the belief that it should be something you expect, it has to be done. If it's not done, then, you're like, these are bad kids or whatever the case may be. It comes naturally. It will come naturally. And if they can do it, they will exceed your expectations. That's just what I believe.
Thank you so much, Kemi. Bimbo, your final thoughts?
Yes, I'm going to say, going with what Kemi said, that you're not doing it does not make you a bad kid. Yeah. If you can't afford it, doesn't make you a bad kid. But as much as possible, when you have, no matter how little, bless your parents. It will come back to you in thousands of ways you least expect.
All right. Thank you both so much. We've learned, we've unlearned, we've rubbed minds, we've gone at it, and we got to a middle ground. I hope that's the case. I'm talking to both of you.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've got to a middle ground.
Yeah,
you both now understand each other's perspective better. So, like I said, I agree with the both of you. See, I won't sit here and lie to you. I take care of I don't have a father anymore. I take care of my mother. Even though I still borrow money from her. I take care of her. So, that's me telling you my own. Do what works for you. Okay? But please, like Bimbo said, let's not ignore parents. Let's not just leave them and just say, I'm in my own now. I don't need them. I don't need them. I'm woke. But obviously, we were sleeping before. So now we are all awake. Anyway, thank you both so much. So before we round up today's show, we made a promise that we are going to announce the winners of our giveaway. Are we all ready? Drum roll. What happened? Bimbo, you're always our number one. You decided to fashion yours this time around.
I decided to step down and let other people enjoy.
All right. Thank you. So the first winner is Queen Tabitha. That's the first. Amarachi is second. Oluwani Baba is third. Tokpe Adejanyo is fourth. Miss Bay is fifth. So those are our 5 winners for the giveaway. We'll put that under this post, under this video at the end of the show. And you all know how we roll. You know how you get your prizes. So thank you all so much. Until next week when we come your way. I'm trying to remember what the topic for next week is. Jesus. Oh no, next week is Easter. So we are all on a break.
Oh.
Next weekend is Easter. So until the week after next week, when I come your way, my name is still Odun. I'm still a woman. In fact, I'm still a girl. Forget it. I'm still a girl. I'm still someone's daughter. I'm friends to a lot of women. And I'm still a woman like you. So I'll see you again next week. Thank you. Bye. Oh, my mom just joined the show. Can you imagine? I'm wrapping up and she just joined. She just joined. Bye, guys. Bye, Mama. You're late.